A Lagos state government begins demolition of unsafe illegal buildings at Trade Fair Complex. Supreme Court holds a first hearing in high-profile blasphemy case. Ex-Vice President Atiku Abubakar disowns media consultant, says statement on Yoruba fake. On the foreign scene, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas rejects any future role for Hamas, condemns anti-Semitism. Good evening, this is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Olufemi Alagbe. The Lagos state government has begun demolition of unsafe and illegal buildings at the Trade Fair Complex in Ojo. The operation was carried out jointly by the Ministry of Physical Planning, Lagos State Building Control Agency, the Lagos State Urban Renewal Agency, and the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority today. The Senior Special Assistant on New Media to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Jibril A. Goward, confirmed the exercise in a post on X. According to him, the move was to restore order and enforce physical planning laws. It disclosed that the operation was targeted at illegal development structures without statutory approvals, defective structures, and buildings rejected on road setbacks and drainages.
Action is the Trade Fair Complex. You understand? We're going to preserve the Trade Fair Complex, which is this, which is why this is the Trade Fair Complex. This one, all these buildings, this is the Trade Fair Complex.
In the meantime, 5 construction workers sustained injuries in the early hours of today when a partially completed 2-story building collapsed at number 5 Modupeola Street, Onipetesi Estate, Magoro, Lagos. The Lagos State Fire and Rescue Services said it received a distress call at 5:39 a.m. and arrived at the scene at 6:24 a.m. with units from Ikeja and Agege fire stations. According to the agency, the affected structure was originally a bungalow before the new owner began converting it into a 2-story building. At the time of the incident, the building was still under construction while occupants remained on the ground floor. The collapse occurred at the rear section of the property. The Controller General of Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, Margaret Adesheye, said all 5 victims were rescued alive with varying degrees of injuries and have been taken to the hospital for treatment. Meanwhile, the Anambra State, a 3-story building with 4 suspended floors located behind the Anambra State House of Assembly of Ekweme Square, Okona, Akwa, the Anambra State capital, has collapsed. It is gathered that the building is still under construction and at the roofing stage suddenly caved in and at about 11:40 a.m. on Thursday. Development threw residents and passers-by into panic as it was gathered that some yet to be identified number of occupants, especially construction workers, were trapped in the rubble. Eyewitnesses near the scene said the structure suddenly caved in without any press sign, adding that the number of workers and other occupants trapped could not be ascertained yet. The cause of the collapse and casualty figures is yet to be ascertained, but some officials from the State Council of the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria and the Materials Testing Department are already on the ground to ascertain the cause. One of the eyewitnesses at the scene said the building collapsed this morning as some artisans were carrying out some construction works at the roof of the structure. To the court, Nigeria Supreme Court today held its first hearing in a high-profile blasphemy case that defense lawyers hope will lead to a ruling that puts curbs on Sharia law. Yahya Sharif Aminu, a Sufi Muslim musician, was sentenced to death by a Sharia court in Nigeria's northern Kano state in 2020 for sharing song lyrics deemed to insult the Prophet Muhammad. The Kano State High Court later overturned the conviction and ordered a retrial, an outcome his lawyer are trying to prevent while seeking a wider ruling on punishment for violating Sharia law, including the death penalty for blasphemy and adultery. Though Nigeria's federal government is secular, Sharia law operates alongside common law in 20 most Muslim northern states. As the case has wound its way to the nation's highest court, civil and religious liberties of advocates from the United States, European Union, and United Nations have voiced support for Sharif Aminu, a lawyer for the Kano state government. Lamido Abbas Sorondinki told the reporters that anybody who has authored any word that touches of the integrity of the Holy Prophet, they will punish him. There are mentioned 5 former senior police officers before Federal Capital Territory High Court in Maitama on charges of alleged age falsification failed to hold following their absence in court. Thus, the development marked the 3rd time the scheduled arraignment before Justice Yusuf Halilu had failed to proceed. The defendants are AIG Idowu Owohua, CP Benneth Igwe, CP Ukechi Peter Okpara, DCP Obo Ukam Obo, and ACP Simeon A. Lau, all retired. They are facing a 14-count filed against them by the Inspector General of Police. At the last sitting, Justice Alilu had ordered the Inspector General of Police to do everything within his power to produce the defendants in court for the arraignment, following their failure to appear before the court. However, when the matter came up today, the prosecution counsel ACP Rimasomte Ezekiel expressed disappointment, noting that despite assurances given by their counsel, Godi Uche San, at the previous sitting that they would attend, they had failed to do so. Justice Halilu further directed the defense counsel to also ensure the appearance of the defendants at the next sitting. The case was adjourned until November 17 for arraignment. Here in Osun State, the state's chapter of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN, has denied reports of a 3-day warning strike. In a statement issued on Thursday, Chairman Comrade Idris Adedayo Adeniran said the union's action remains indefinite. Adeniran dismissed the reports as false, baseless, and maliciously designed to undermine the union's legitimate struggle. He stressed that JUSUN members remain committed to their demands and will not be distracted by attempts to weaken their resolve. He further urged members, lawyers, and stakeholders to stay vigilant and united in the pursuit of justice and fairness. The union reaffirmed its key demands: timely promotions, improved welfare, and better working conditions for all judiciary staff. Adeniran said these demands are legitimate, reasonable, and long overdue, stressing that JUSUN would persist until they are met. He also maintained that recognition from the Judicial Service Commission on the Chief Judge Adepele Ocho is crucial to ending the strike. To security matters, troops of the Nigerian army have neutralized 2 terrorists, apprehended 32 suspects, and rescued 13 kidnapped victims in major operations in the last 24 hours across the country. A source at Army headquarters told the news agency of Nigeria on Thursday that the operations were carried out in the northeast, north central, northwest, and southeast, and the south. In the northeast, he said the troops of Operation Hadinkai arrested 3 suspected ISWAP gas logistics suppliers in Borno and Yobe. He added that 1 terrorist was neutralized in an ambush in Konduga, while another suspect was apprehended in Gakida, Adamawa, for involvement in earlier attack. In Benue, the source said the troops of Operation Wild Stroke neutralized 1 extremist in Katsina, Allah, and rescued 10 kidnapped victims in Ukum after a gun battle. In the northwest, he said the troops foiled the kidnapped attempts in Zamfara, rescuing 3 victims in Anka. The Kwara State Police Command has rescued a woman and her 9-month-old baby alongside 5 other victims from kidnappers' den after a gun battle with bandits in a forest near Owauniri, Ifelo, the local government area of the state. The victims were freed on Wednesday following a joint operation by operatives attached to the office of the National Security Advisor, police officers, and vigilante members. The command spokesperson, who confirmed the development in a statement on Thursday, said the rescue followed sustained search and rescue operations launched in response to recent abductions in the state. She revealed that during the operation, security operatives encountered armed resistance from the kidnappers, leading to a fierce gun duel, noting that the criminals were forced to abandon their hostages and escape deeper into the forest. The PPRO added that a vigilante member sustained gunshot injuries during the encounter but is responding to treatment. She disclosed that items recovered from the bandits' hideout include 3 motorcycles and 9 empty magazines of AK-47 rifles. Ejire Adeyemi added that the rescued victims had been debriefed and reunited with their families, noting that the Commissioner of Police, CP Adekimiojo, commended the gallantry of the security team. Turning to politics, the 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party and a former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has denied any association with a media consultant named Kola Johnson. This is as he also rejected statement released by the media consultant on Wednesday that he would protect Yoruba interests if elected as president in 2027. The former vice president, in a statement issued on Thursday by his media advisor, Paul Ibe, alleged that faceless mercenaries are behind a false press statement just to discredit him. He also dismissed the claim as false and offensive, describing it as a part of a calculated propaganda projected to ridicule him in the media. The statement also clarified that authentic information on the former vice president is only released through his media advisor or special assistant on public communications. It was widely reported on Wednesday that Atiku was assured people of the Southwest geopolitical zone that their interests would remain central to his policy direction if elected president in 2027, noting that his long-standing marital and cultural ties to the region make him family. Against social media reports that he has proceeded to terminal leave, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, this afternoon chaired the Commission's regular weekly committee. The meeting, according to INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of its Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Sam Olumeko, reviewed preparations for the forthcoming Anambra State governorship election, the conduct of party primaries for the Ekiti and Osun State governorship elections. In addition, the meeting approved the 2025 promotion of 471 deserving junior staff of the Commission on the recommendation of the Appointment, Promotion and Disciplinary Committee, in line with the staff conditions of service. An online news portal had reported late Wednesday that President Bola Tinubu had directed Prof. Mahmood Yakubu to proceed on terminal leave. Professor Mahmood's second 5-year tenure as chairman of the electoral body ends on December 8, 2025. The push for Nigeria to harness cutting-edge science to solve its developmental challenges took center stage today at the third Nigerian Bioinformatics and Genomics conferences in Bowen University in Washington State. The event saw the celebration of top scientists and a strong call for collaboration between researchers and the governments. Toby Sanusi was there and now reports.
With the theme, Harnessing Bioinformatics and Genomic Science for Sustainable Development in Africa, the third edition of the Nigerian Bioinformatics and Genomics Conference kicked off at Bowen University, Iwo, Osun State, with a clear message of actualizing sustainable development goals. The event, which brought together leading minds in the field, began with a charge from the president of the Nigeria Bioinformatics and Genomics Network, Professor Charles Adetunji, who urged the next generation of scientists to key into transformational research to solve global problems in agriculture, the environment, and other critical sectors.
To lay on the well-laid foundation in terms of science It's high time we prioritize science and engage in translational research and key into what we know how to do best. We might be black, but our brain is not black. It's high time we go to the community and base most of our invention on community-based investment. No longer business as usual.
Representing the Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Innovation, Science, Technology and Digital Economy, Olufunke Jolayemi, stated that the government will prioritize scientific development, citing ongoing investment in education research, smart farming and youth development.
We understand that governance must be science-driven. Our policies and programs are guided by evidence, innovation and inclusivity. We have made deliberate investments in, number one, education and research, strengthening science curricula, supporting tertiary institutions, and encouraging partnership with global networks.
In his address, Osun State Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Tola Fasheru, stressed that only Nigerians can develop the nation and called for synergy between the private sector and the government to sustain new innovations.
And I charge them that nobody is going to develop Nigeria for Nigeria. Nigerians are the ones that can develop Nigeria. Nigeria has been great. We have attained something before. It means that, yes, there has been a shortfall, there has been a regression. It means that we can still come back, not only to where we used to be, but also to do even better.
A major highlight was the celebration of scientists and the conferment of the highest degree of recognition in the Nigerian Bioinformatics and Genomics Network, NBGN, as 9 distinguished professors were decorated as NBGN Fellows by the Vice Chancellor of Bowen University, Professor Jonathan Babalola. The 9 fellows include Professor Kola Oloke, renowned for developing 2 vaccines during the COVID-19 pandemic, alongside Professors Nash Oyekomi, Marion Olubumi, Christian Happy, Oluyomi Adeyemi, Muhammad Yerima, Shegun Fatumo, the NBGN President, Professor Charles Adetunji, and Professor Abimbola Owosheni. Similarly, the NBGN also presented an Exceptional Leadership and Distinguished Governors Award for Scientific Excellence to Governor Adeleke, while the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Kolapo Alimi, also bagged Leadership Award. Meanwhile, a keynote presentation by Dr. Rajana Bhattacharjee highlighted the challenges of sub-Saharan Africa, noting that Nigeria is witnessing unprecedented climate change and suffering from low agricultural productivity. She, however, called for agricultural transformation by harnessing technology despite challenges like overpopulation, while urging Nigerian government to invest heavily in yam production.
You can't grow everything everywhere. So you need to make sure that you divide your country into agroecological zones and find out where what can grow. Without partnership, nothing can be done, whether national, regional, or international.
Responding, the Agriculture Commissioner, Mr. Fasheru, assured stakeholders that Osun State government is ready to collaborate to boost agriculture productivity.
The collaboration should start now. We are ready to work with you, to work with all the stakeholders to project. If it's just cocoa and the yam, let's drive it together and we will get whatever that is needed.
The conference concluded with emphasis on the critical role of genomics and bioinformatics in shaping a sustainable future for Nigeria and Africa at large. Toby Sanusi, Western Spring Television News.
Thank you, Toby. You're watching News at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come. US President Donald Trump calls on Turkey to stop buying oil from Russia. I'll bring you more on this when we return.